Scouts, I just wanted to make a quick video for you to give you some information about the upcoming solar eclipse that's going to be happening on Monday, September 21st, 2017, so that you know how that you can earn Scout badges that are available for that special event. First of all, a little background on me. I've been a Girl Scout volunteer for over 7 years and a Cub Scout volunteer for 5 years now. I'm also a leader in the Cub Scout Supernova program and have been a mentor in that for the past couple years and have led several boys to earn that high award in Cub Scouts. And I'm also a 4th grade teacher, so I have experience teaching there as well. And just this week I was teaching my class about the solar eclipse, and I wanted to make sure that I got some information out to my scouts as well, so that my scouts and possibly other scouts can earn these awards as well. So for the Boy Scouts and Cub Scouts, there is an actual eclipse patch that can be earned. It looks like this. My printout is black and white, but the actual patch I believe has some blue in it as well. And the information on how to earn that is available through Brian on Scouting. You're probably familiar with that site. If not, you can just look it up. It's super easy to find. For Cub Scouts, the requirements are pretty simple. Locate a site suitable for viewing the eclipse. Describe how to safely view an eclipse. Also talk about what you felt like while you were viewing it. And discuss what a solar eclipse is with your leaders. So pretty simple for those Cub Scouts out there, and it will also go towards some of your NOVA requirements. If you look those up, it can help out with those as well. So learning about it, watching a program about it, or being involved in an experiment, or even possibly just the viewing can earn you some credit towards those things. For Girl Scouts, there are not specific requirements, but they do have this awesome badge through our local council. It's Arizona Cactus Pine. You can check if your council has something as well. I know Girl Scouts did put out a lot of awesome things like this Get Eclipse book, but there are no specific requirements for earning it, as it is a fun badge. So you can pretty much do what you would like. For Scouts, I wanted to tell you what a solar eclipse is and why it's so exciting. A solar eclipse can only happen when the moon passes between the earth and the sun. So I made a really, hopefully you can see it, diagram. There we go. There's my nice big sun over there. And here's the earth, and the moon is passing between the two. So this area here is the umbra. And that is going to be where you have the total eclipse and the moon completely covers the sun. And then here on the outside edges is the penumbra, which is the area where there is still a shadow, but we don't get a full eclipse. We only get a partial eclipse. So where I am in Arizona, if you're one of my scouts, you'll only see a partial eclipse. Here's a map that shows where the total solar eclipse is. This yellow section across the United States is where you will see the full eclipse. And then the rest of the United States will see varying amounts of eclipse. So specifically for Arizona, our closest big city listed on the table on the back is Phoenix. So our eclipse will begin at around 9:14 a.m. and end at noon, with the peak being at 10:34 a.m. And we'll get a maximum of 70% of that eclipse. It's really cool to see an eclipse because it doesn't happen very often. Eclipses do happen more often, but a total solar eclipse is a really special event, and it only happens again when that alignment happens. So, what was I going to show you? I was going to show you something really exciting, and I can't remember what it was. Let me see. My helpers are trying to tell me what I should do next. One of the most important things about this eclipse is to make sure that you view it safely. So if you're going out to look at it, you got to make sure that you're safe, because looking directly at the sun is not a good idea. It can seriously damage your vision permanently, so you wouldn't be able to see. And at this point, it's kind of late to order glasses for this, because everyone wants them, and so they're sold out all over the place. But if you go to a viewing event near you, they may have some available, which would be very exciting. You can also use glass that is rated for, I don't remember the exact rating for it, but if you use blast shield glass that's used for welding, there's a certain rating that will protect you from looking at the sun, so you can use that. I encourage you to look it up. Don't just use any, make sure you use the correct one. Or you can look indirectly at the sun. So I'm going to show you how to do a really simple, easy craft activity to be able to view this safely. So this is a solar viewer that my Cub Scout made just the other day all by himself. And it looks very simple. It's just a cereal box. He made it in about 5 minutes, and I was able to make them with my whole class of 36 students in about 10 minutes, because, you know, it's a whole group activity, so a little bit tougher. But I'm going to show you how to make one very easily and quickly here. So you need a cereal box. That one is made by my Cub Scout, so I'm getting the Girl Scouts in here too. And what you're going to do is first check inside. And if the inside of your box is not white, you're going to get a piece of white paper or cardstock and just put your box on top of it, trace around the bottom, and then you're going to glue or tape it inside the bottom, because it'll be easier for you to see that way. And I'm not going to do that step right now because that would just take extra time, but I'll show you how to do the rest of this. You're going to take your scissors once your white is inside and cut off the short tabs. So cut, cut, cut. There's one. Here's two. And then you're going to cut just 1.5 inches, 2 inches in to the top flap of your box. You're going to do that on both sides. This is a box top. You should save it for your teacher. We love when you bring those in, because that makes it possible for us to go on field trips, like the one I'm taking my class on Monday, to go see the solar eclipse. Then you're going to cut the second flap so that it matches the first one. Cut it very nicely. And as you can see, it doesn't take very long at all to do this cutting. And now the top of my box is starting to look like this one, the 2 openings. Then you're going to just get some tape very easily. Tape this down. That will keep there from getting too much light inside. We want to be able to see the sun, but we don't want too much light getting inside, because then it'll overwhelm what we're looking at. So then your box should look like this on top. And you're just going to get a piece of aluminum foil. Very simple. These are all things that you have at home probably already. You don't have to use a cereal box. You could use even a Girl Scout cookie box. I know some of my students at school use like boxes from frozen tacos or other things like that. One student was using a box from a Lego set. So just anything that is going to make this box shape that's easy for you to handle, you have on hand, and you can look inside of. Alright, we are almost done. We already taped this down. You want to make sure it's as tight as possible around here so that you don't have gaps that let in extra light. And then you're going to take a pin and right in the center, just poke a pinhole, and you're done. This is actually complete. So the way you're going to use it is take it outside, and you're going to hold it this way. You're going to look in through the opening and line up the top part so that the sun shines in through your tiny hole. And inside you'll see just a little dot of light, and that is actually the sun. It's an image of the sun being projected inside your box. And if you go out and test on any regular day, or maybe someday this weekend, if you make one of these, you can go out and test it. You'll see just a round dot of light, and then you can compare that to what you see during the eclipse, because it's going to be a little bit different. Might be covered up a little bit. So you can see that's very simple, all things that you have at home and can easily make. I remember what I was going to tell you earlier. I didn't bring in my materials down here. But to show you how a solar eclipse works, you saw in my picture, right, the sun is huge and the moon is pretty tiny. So it can be really confusing to kids how it works that our little tiny moon covers that enormous sun. And so it's a really simple thing that you can do. Take a quarter and take a paper plate. I recommend paper because, you know, if it gets dropped, it doesn't get broken. But you can use any kind of plate and hold them up at arm's distance. And you can see one is really small and one's super huge. How are they ever going to, how's that little tiny quarter gonna cover that plate? And then you can have your child, or you, if you're a scout, you can hold up that quarter and have your parent or a partner take the plate and back up from you. And as they go backwards, you close one eye and look at that quarter. And I bet you that when they're not really that far away from you, it doesn't take that far. We found it's less than 20 feet actually, that the quarter is going to cover up the plate. And you can't see the plate anymore because the quarter covers the whole thing. And so that's how it works. The reason that we can cover, or that the moon ends up covering the sun, is because the distance between the two. So when the moon comes right in between, the sun is far enough away that it actually covers it up. So the other activity that I'm going to tell you about has to do with the sun's corona. And the corona is the really hot gas outside of the sun. And it's part of why the solar eclipse is so exciting to scientists, because they get to actually see that. And it's not something they normally can see, and they are really interested in studying it because the corona is about 1.8 million degrees Fahrenheit, which is super, super hot. And our sun is really hot too, but the sun is only about 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit. So the corona is way hotter, and scientists really don't know why that is. So this is a chance for them to get to actually look directly at it, and maybe they can find out some more about it. So in the past, scientists didn't have the really fancy, awesome cameras that they do today. And so they actually did drawings to record what they saw when they were able to look at the corona, because these brave people were looking kind of directly at the sun, which I don't recommend ever doing during totality. If you are in the path of totality during the peak, you can actually look directly at it, but it's very dangerous, and so it's much safer to, even during that time, use one of those protective things that I talked about. Or if you go to a viewing, a lot of times there will be a solar telescope, and they have a special lens on them. You shouldn't look with binoculars or a telescope. Those things do not protect you. But this is kind of what those astronomers are hoping to see. And these are actual, the things I just showed you are actual recordings of previous total solar eclipses. So you can do an activity where you take a paper, black paper, and just cut out a circle and put it on there. And for my class, I cut out an actual moon, because the moon is passing over the sun. And I had them use chalk. You could use white or yellow or really any color. And they drew a circle around the moon to represent the corona. And then, like those recorded pictures did, they did a prediction by